All right, earlier today in federal parliament, in the supposedly genteel upper house, Labor Senator Kim Carr had this to say to Liberal Senator James Paterson.
This is in the humanities.
About the Russian Revolution?
No, well, I can tell you that too. But you'd know that, those in the Hitler Youth would understand that only too well.
That's outrageous, Senator Carr. That is seriously offensive. I ask that you withdraw that.
I was being facetious.
No, it's not facetious, Senator Carr. Accusing someone of being a Nazi is a very serious thing.
Cut it out.
No, seriously, Senator Carr.
Okay. Senator
If you took
Carr.
offence, I withdraw it.
Senator Carr, anyone would take offence.
You just threw a bucket of shit at me, and you're going to suddenly say, "Well, you're offended." You're offended.
I was joking about revolutions.
You were joking. Well,
I was joking about revolutions.
Well, you were joking. Well,
I didn't call you a Nazi.
Very humorous, aren't you?
Senator Carr.
Thank you very much.
Senator Carr. Senator.
What's that? I've already indicated I withdrew it. He's taken offence. Let him, poor petal.
Thank you for withdrawing that remark.
Well, there you go. We'll speak to the poor petal in a moment. Liberal Senator James Paterson, who it seems was accused of being a member of the Hitler Youth. But, again, you be the judge, 96900 693. That's only one passage of what went on in the federal Senate today up in Canberra. But do you think, A, are our politicians getting on with the business of government, of making Australia a better place for both us and our children? Or B, doing nothing more than being like kids in the schoolyard hurling insults at each other? Give me a call, 96900 693 13 13 32. The Liberal Senator at whom the Hitler Youth remark was aimed joins us right now. Liberal Senator James Paterson, good afternoon.
G'day, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Just as a general comment, in the Senate, are you getting on with the business of governing Australia or just shouting at each other?
It doesn't make for great listening, does it, Tom? And I would appreciate why some of your listeners hearing things like that would think that that's what we do all the time. But the truth is that moments like that are thankfully pretty rare. And the reason why it's so damaging is because they're rare, they get reported on and people do think that's representative. But I can really genuinely assure your listeners this is not the day-to-day business of the Senate.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, how did you feel when Senator Kim Carr appeared to accuse you of being a member of the Hitler Youth?
Well, it's obviously, I think, objectively offensive, but putting my own feelings aside, I think it's really disrespectful to people who survived the Holocaust and to their descendants. It really diminishes their memory and their experience, and it's just an event in history that is incomparable to anything else, and there's no need to bring it into mundane Australian politics.
Is it true that Kim Carr behind his back is still called Kim Il-Carr after the North Korean dictator?
Perhaps by his Labor colleagues, I haven't heard that.
All right. I mean, yeah, again, we don't sit there playing bits and pieces from Parliament all the time, but has Kim Carr apologised to you over that?
He withdrew his remark, as you might have heard in the clip, somewhat reluctantly, and then later on he came back into the committee to more comprehensively withdraw.
Okay. Now, yesterday in the lower house, Michaelia Cash gave a rather bizarre outburst aimed at Bill Shorten's female staffers. What was going on there?
That was actually in Senate estimates.
Sorry, that was in the Senate, yes, it was.
I happen to be a member of that committee, so I was there for that as well. What was happening is Senator Cameron was asking some very pointed questions about Senator Cash's staff and was naming some of them on the record, which is a real breach of Senate convention. Senator Cash lashed out and should not have done so, and she's right to withdraw it. It doesn't excuse what she said.
Right, okay, so Senator Doug Cameron, the foul-mouthed Scotsman, said one thing, and Senator Cash from the Liberal Party has lashed out back at him, and then both sides have sort of withdrawn. Would that be an accurate summation?
I don't think that Senator Cameron's withdrawn anything. Senator Cash certainly has.
Okay. How is the business of government at the moment? I mean, generally, are you getting things done?
Well, a lot is happening, Tom. I know that for a lot of your listeners, they'll think that this is all we do, but it really isn't. I mean, you've heard all the stats. 400,000 new jobs were created last year. I mean, that is one of the most phenomenal years of job growth on record.
Well, yes, but you know as well as I do, it's businesses that create jobs, not governments.
Absolutely, Tom, and we can't take all the credit for it, but we certainly put the settings in place that help that happen, allow businesses to flourish. We don't employ those people, businesses do, but we put in place the conditions, including through tax cuts for small business, which have already passed, that allow them to do so.
Righto, and leadership of the National Party, is that disturbed things, or is it back to business now?
Oh, I think there's no question, Tom, that it was a big distraction for a couple of weeks. But I'm pleased that now seems to be well and truly resolved. And in Michael McCormack, they've picked a very safe pair of hands as leader, I think.
Thank you, Senator. Senator James Paterson there from the Liberal Party, accused, it would seem, by Labor Senator Kim Carr of being a member of the Hitler Youth. 96900 693 13 13 32. Brendan, what did you think of all that?
Well, for the being of the Jewish faith, I found it absolutely repulsive.
Yeah, it's a pretty sort of easy insult to bandy about, isn't it? But it's got deep meaning for someone like you.
Yeah, deep meaning. I mean, that pudgy little senator probably never done it on the stage work in his life.
Well, I couldn't say whether he has or he hasn't, but, well, politicians do work, whether it's honest and whether it actually achieves anything, that's a separate issue. Thank you, Brendan. It's funny, isn't it? Because, these days people hurl around the term Nazi with gay abandon. They just don't really think about what it means.